In this video, I'm gonna show you how to turn your small office from this to this. Let's get into it. Now, when I first started creating content, my biggest issue was gear, right? You have C-stands, you have lights, you have soft boxes, you have all these different things to try to cram into this tiny space. And frankly, it was more of a pain than it was anything else. So guess what happened? I didn't make content. One day I decided I'm gonna make this a priority. And I thought to myself, how can I do this while taking up the least amount of space possible, because I don't have the space. And after watching hundreds of videos from creators like Think Media or DSLR Video Shooter, I, along with their ideas, came up with the solution that I have today. And I have something now that is set up all the time where I can come, sit here, and talk to you guys. First things first, I was gonna figure out how I can mount stuff permanently so I don't have to keep setting up and tearing down every time I wanna make content. And with that comes the impact Vary poles. Now, if you're in a small space, these things are lifesavers. They start at 6 feet long, but expand all the way to 12 feet, and they come in a pack of 2. In my setup, I have one vertical floor to ceiling holding my key light and my camera. Then I have one going across the top of the room to hold my second light and my B cam. After doing some research on these, the weight limit is 55 pounds on them, and that's actually in the vertical orientation from floor to ceiling. But I will tell you, having the one going across the room, just tension from wall to wall, holds my second camera and my second light perfectly. After I bought the Vary poles, I had to figure out how I was gonna mount everything to them. And so I thought, hey, I had these clamps that I bought from Small Rig with some magic arms, and I thought they would work perfectly, but before you waste your time, these are too small. Useful, too small. So what I ended up purchasing was the Impact Super Clamps. These things are large enough to go around the Vary pole and strong enough to know that I don't have to worry about my camera falling out of the sky and landing on my table. The desk I have is a walnut desk from Target, super affordable, something small, easy to stow away in the corner if I need to, but looks really good on camera. With the Super Clamps, I have a few Small Rig magic arms as well as a Pearstone one. These thread right in, they hold strong, and honestly, they call them magic arms for a reason, because without them, I don't know if this setup is even possible. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. For lighting, I decided to go with the Zhiyun Molus lighting kits because they're small, they're powerful. This key light is at 21%. This is the X100, and behind me is the G60. These lights pack a huge punch at their tiny size, and they're affordable. If I take this X100 and bring it all the way to 100%, you can call me Casper. And I would recommend them to anybody who's wanting to get into content creation at any given point. Now, with the Molus X100, I did put on the full-size Small Rig softbox. The reason behind that is the larger the diffusion, the softer the light. It does come with this softbox here. And while it does work pretty well, and it's kind of cute if I'm being honest, I had this one lying around, so I figured, why not try to make the content just that much better? Now, after I got my lighting squared away and had that figured out, I wanted to be able to do a top-down shot so I could show products on the table and give you a better view of whatever I'm doing, whether it be going through a cell phone, an iPad, or whatever else that may be. So I decided for my second cam to also be mounted with the super clamp right above me. And having the top down, I had to figure out how am I gonna see this thing without doing this the entire time. So I ran a 10-foot HDMI cable from my camera over here to a Ninja V, solid. My microphone of choice right now is a Sennheiser MKE600. It's an affordable shotgun mic, gives great audio quality, and I have that running straight into camera using a small adapter that's an XLR to 3.5 millimeter. The S5 II has great preamp, so I'm not too worried about audio degradation going straight into camera. Now, the fun thing about audio is how I mounted it. What I did was I took a 512 audio desk mount for a podcast microphone. I mounted it to the shelf next to me. On the end of it, I took off the adapter and put in another magic arm, and that way, I can fully adjust where my microphone is at all times, and it stays where I want it to. Beyond audio, lighting, cameras, and everything else, there's a few things I have just to make the shot a little bit more pretty. Like this right here is a Govee rope light. Govee makes their rope lights in a way to where you can bend and twist and do anything you need to them to create the shape that you want. And I just thought, hey, why don't I make it into my own logo? You can also see a Govee rope light above the toolbox in the closet. Now, the closet has a special place in my heart right now because it really helps me keep organized. I use IKEA Scottus pegboards to mount all of my chargers and a couple little shelves for knickknacks or whatever else I may be charging. I have a Ugreen charger that charges pretty much everything I need it to. And speaking of Ugreen, I got some good stuff coming up on them. And I use a second board just to hold my gimbal and whatever else I want to put up there with the elastic straps. On top of the toolbox, we have my Nanook 935 case that I use to go everywhere with me with my cameras. On top of that, I do have Peter McKinnon's travel sling from Nomadic. It's an amazing bag that's small enough to bring with you pretty much anywhere. I took it on a trip last year, and I gotta say the setup is perfect. Inside the toolbox, you'll find, well, some tools. Now, I'm not just talking about the drills and the wrenches and the screwdrivers. I'm talking about everything. Everything in this toolbox is a tool that I use in my craft. Whether it's an extra light, an audio recorder, everything in there is useful to me, and I love having this toolbox to be able to organize it all. I honestly love what this has been able to provide to me, which is a space to where I can make content without having to set up and tear down and do all these extra things. I can come in here, I can hit record, and I can talk to you guys and give you what you want to see. With that being said, there will be more content coming from this channel more consistently. So consider hitting that subscribe button, give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one.